This is Car Guys Talk with Andrew and Tavarish.
Hey there. I hope you're having a fantastic day because, hopefully we give you a little more of the fantastic quality that you enjoy in your life. Today is a good day indeed because it is a podcast day. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, this is the Car Guys Talk show extravaganza experience.
Podcast.
I don't like to call it a podcast, even though I just called it a podcast. What's my dog doing?
I don't know. The shadow freaked me out for a sec.
Oh, she's literally just walking around. Okay, my name is Freddie Hernandez, and you might know me as Tavarish if you're on the internet and looking for me. And his name is Andrew Howell.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. How you doing today?
Doing all right. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
All right. So we wanted to talk about some stuff today. Mainly, well, you wanted to talk about some things, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is it?
What do you think about mods that are overpriced? People pay too much for these mods and they don't do nothing.
What do I think about mods, or what are the mods?
What? Yeah, both. what are the mods, and what do
First
you
of
think
all,
about
I don't think of them very much at all. You know, because I don't know where I was going with that. So mods that are overpriced and you put them on your car, they don't really they probably lose a lot of value after you buy them, or
They just have little to no effect or bad effects.
Yes.
Negative effects.
Yeah, negative effects on what you want to do to the car. So the first thing that would come to mind, and it's a little bit of a contentious one, but wheels. So wheels could be, there's no reason why you need 3-piece forged wheels.
Yeah, no, definitely not that expensive. Like, of course, there are benefits to having wider wheels with maybe a higher offset, so you have wider, stance for the car to lower the center of gravity.
To be honest with you, I want to see the difference between, let's say, a wider wheel with the same tire versus just a better tire on that same wheel.
I think that's the whole point, is you get the wheels and the better tires, and in tandem, those mods work together.
But it changes it's
and
not necessarily...
having a lighter weight wheel also really helps, rotating mass.
Sure, but sometimes when people get these 3-piece wheels, they're getting bigger ones,
Yeah,
and
you're right.
they're not there's no weight savings.
Correct.
And there's also different things like scrub radius that you have to worry about. There's different things. It's if an all-wheel drive car, sometimes, if you have a 18 in the front and 19 in the back, you have different speeds going through it, and it can eat away your differential. You can have issues where the tire pressure, not tire pressure, but the ABS system or stability system doesn't really know what's going on. So there's a lot of differences. Like with wheels, there's a lot that you can go into, but I'm talking about the guy that has, let's say, the quintessential Civic owner, that just spends $5,000 on a set of tires, not a set of tires, on a set of wheels. That I think is overpriced because you don't need that. It's like for show cars, that's an aesthetic thing for them. It's more of a show-offy thing, which is sort of a purpose in itself. But I think you can get that sort of thing with like some cheap set of wheels and Plastidip, at this point. So I think
I could agree with that.
Yeah. So what about I've been watching Mighty Car Mods.
Yes.
Their Twisted series.
Yes.
And there's a lot in that car where it was like a lot of money and time was spent, and I'm not sure. I think it's just kind of overpriced and over. They definitely spent the quality of work on that car. It looks to be good. It looks to be like well done. It wasn't half-assed. It wasn't like they didn't cut corners. It looked like it was a very well done job. But why?
ATBGE.
I don't know what that is. Are you having...
That is a subreddit, and ATBGE means awful taste, but great execution.
Oh, okay.
Terrible things done really well.
Okay, all right. So I can get on board with that. That's totally fine. But I would throw into that stereos.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree. But I think there's kind of a caveat there because, for my instance, and I've talked about this before, the Mini Cooper has the Harman Kardon sound system and my ST.
Harman Kardon?
Harman Kardon.
Harden Carmen?
Harman.
Hard on?
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even, that's not what I said.
You said hard on?
No, I said Harman.
Hard on?
I'll rewind the footage.
No, I'm not saying you said it. I'm just saying hard on.
Anyways, the Mini Cooper has the Harman Kardon sound. Oh my God.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The ST has the Sony sound system, and it's pure garbage.
Why is it pure garbage?
There's no volume, there's no dynamics. It just sucks.
We were listening to Scar Symmetry pretty darn loudly in your car.
That was as loud as it went.
That was pretty good.
Pathetic.
That was pretty good.
Pathetic. Coming from the Mini Cooper, where I got a little spoiled. Well, Mini Cooper spoiled me a little bit. It's just bad.
Okay.
But I think for me,
how much would you spend on getting your Ford Focus ST to the Mini Cooper's level?
I haven't done any shopping around, so I don't even know how much it would cost.
So obviously you don't really care that much about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, would you pay $1,000 to get it there?
If I had the money, sure.
Okay. Would you pay $2,000 to get it there?
No.
Okay. So that's sort of the differential. But a lot of these audio systems, they cost more than $2,000.
No, and that's what I'm getting at. I don't see the point of like doing, the big like sub boxes and the amps and having to get like separate batteries to run your sound system because you're just weighing your car down with a bunch of crap.
Sure. I think, well, for your purposes, yeah. But let's say if your ultimate goal is to get the best sounding car, then perhaps it would make sense to do that. But I think that there's some overpriced qualities to this. So there are a lot of the internet's full of audio files, and,
right.
I put that in for people listening on audio. It's just
air quotes.
Yeah, air quotes. Audio file. I know what I'm listening to. Like there's audio files, right?
No highs, no lows, must be bones.
Yeah. So there are these people that they say every stock system is complete garbage. And they don't. They only go with. They're usually brand. They're very brand specific.
Yeah.
Like I only go with rainbow speakers, or I only go with focals, or something like that. And usually it's that brand is no better at anything else than any other brand. It's just they like that brand, and that brand is expensive, so that's what they go with.
Yep.
And if you it's like these the wine connoisseurs,
where
you go like, oh, it's very earthy, it has a tone, and like it's this like $3 wine from the gas station, and like, wow, it's very rich, and I can taste the grape, and like, yeah, okay.
You can taste the grape and the thing that's made out of grapes. No freaking way, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It reminds me of the Penn and Teller. Well, I don't know if we could say BS. Show that they had a while back, and they had this water bar thing, and it was so good. And all they did was they were filling up a glass with a hose. They had this restaurant basically where they would show you different types of water around the world. So they had like, this is glacier. This is I remember they had one that was like agua de culo, right? And it was like, first of all, and they didn't explain that joke. They didn't explain what that meant. They're like, oh, we have a beautiful agua de culo here. It's like that literally means butt water.
Yeah,
that's like it's butt water, it's water from the butt. And all they were doing is just filling up these glasses with hoses, and then people, depending on the price, they were like, oh, well, this one is different. Yeah, I can feel that it's more pure and all this stuff. Like, you don't know. It's like the brain plays tricks on you, right?
That's the same thing with like people that pay, $400 for a plain white T-shirt, but because it's Yeezy
or Supreme or something.
They have to have it.
Yeah, of course.
I love that Supreme like trolled their own customers and they made a whole bunch of money. They just sold bricks.
Yeah, they sold bricks
with Supreme on it.
Yeah.
Just to prove they can literally put Supreme on anything and sell it to the idiots that pay too much money for that crap.
Sure.
Incredible. I love it.
So yeah, I love that too. I love the marketing exercise. And it's the whole thing where Payless just did a campaign.
Yeah.
Where they had Palessi.
Yeah.
In LA where they had this boutique store and like all the shoes were like $20 at their usual store, but they were charging like $500. And they're like, wow, this is really good.
And there's like a
quality.
bunch of YouTube influencers that went in there and like they just made a fool out of
Well, I mean, the
everybody.
influencers kind of lend credence to this because the influencers, they're not. I wouldn't even say journalists because journalists also they're on that gravy train a lot of times. So it depends on the influencer. Really, it's some would consider me an influencer, but there's this whole thing where like with fashion, you're literally paid to get wined and dined.
Yep.
And if they go, hey, this is, I think that they were most likely in on it. I think that they probably knew because they could say that this is damaging to my brand that I was associated with this. And
My brand.
Yeah, but my brand. That's associated. Like, imagine if I went on a press trip and then I said, oh, I really like this. And what if I really did like it? And then it turns out they were just playing me for a fool. I could now go to them and be like, you tricked me. And this is like, what's going on here? Like now I have to worry about, I have to do damage control on my own, on my own brand because I like something. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like I trusted you to do like that. You were in good faith, giving me this product. So I think that there's a little bit of, screwing around going on.
Sure.
But going back to what's, overpriced in cars. So stereos can be.
Yes.
I know that the system in my my Ferrari F355 had a Macintosh amp. It's like this big Macintosh amp right in the trunk, and there's in the frunk, and there's a Macintosh head unit. I've never seen one before in my life, but apparently they make them. A single-din head unit in the dash.
Is it still?
Oh no, it's right crispy.
It was a Macintosh head unit. Thankfully, the amp made it.
The head unit used to be Macintosh. Now it's and that's just it just
started out Macintosh. Now it's just apple pie.
Now it's
it was baked.
Yes, it was definitely baked. It's just all melted. But that
we
amp,
we should test the amp to make sure that it's good. I think it is.
It probably is.
We should probably test it.
Yeah. But the amp, a lot of people have been asking me about that.
Oh yeah,
because it's like $2,500 used.
Yeah,
so
that's wild.
That's like a good portion of what I paid for the car just on the amp, which is good. Yeah.
I think you should keep it in there.
I'm gonna keep it in there. I've never seen one like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's very nice.
So if I can get one of those head units, which is probably expensive, that would be kind of cool. But I don't even think it has Bluetooth. I think it's one of those, we have
from the 90s.
We have this highest fidelity, like. You got a tape deck though.
We don't use Bluetooth because it compresses the quality.
Yeah. Cuts off the highs and cuts off the lows. Must be Bose. So that's something maybe I'll keep in there, but I wouldn't spend $1,000 on a head unit.
Not on just a head unit, no. Like for the whole kit and caboodle, like head units, speakers, all of that. Yeah, I'd go for it.
I don't really care. I don't really care that much.
I
What I want is value per dollar. So I'd get some good speakers. The amp should be good enough. Like it should be fine because I know that I'm not gonna tell the difference between the what's like what do they use as measuring stick of like quality? Is it I keep on thinking of THQ. It's not THQ. It's
THX?
No, it's not THX. It's like
frequency hertz.
Yeah. It's like the amount of distortion. It's like a point, something 00 whatever amount of distortion per whatever.
Distortion per liter.
Distortion per liter. Actually, I have the lowest specific distortion per liter.
Out of any car.
Okay, so this one is actually quite special. My Ford Focus.
My Ford Focus.
My Ford Focus. Don't know where I was going with that, but just
I
stay with me there.
I have a couple of mods on my list that I think are overpriced and don't do a whole lot.
Okay, what are they?
HID headlights. Specifically,
okay,
people that upgrade to HID headlights and don't install or retrofit projectors. I hate you
How do you
for blinding everybody on the road.
How do you retrofit something?
Retrofit is what I meant to say.
Retro. That's when you turn something back into a frit. But that's not expensive though. That's not overpriced. Like HIDs. See, I think you're thinking of 2005 when HIDs were very expensive, where they're like $300.
Oh.
Now it's literally $40.
What?
They're almost free.
Oh my God.
I bought a set for my my truck because one of the HID things was busted, like the ballasts, and lo and behold, went on eBay, found exactly the same thing. It was like $25.
Do you have HIDs on that truck and no projectors for your headlights?
Listen, man,
Is that what's going on right now? Because if you do, you suck.
Here's the thing. It's a truck, and I figure it's going to blind everyone anyway, just because it's so high up.
No. But
I've never had. Well, I've had it a few times, but I've never like the high beams and the low beams. They do nothing. It's like
they do nothing.
Yeah, they do nothing on that truck. It's like if I put on the low beams, they light up the sky. If I put on the high beams, they light up the sky. It's like it's the same thing throughout the entire range. So I figure the halogen lights, they're gonna do the same thing. They're not they don't have any special shielding or whatever. They use the same exact crap. Light is light. It's just a kind of high intensity type thing, but I don't find an issue with that too much.
I hate it.
Okay. So, what you get here in Florida more often than not is people who just don't turn off their high beams.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, are you getting this weird like thing on where one side is cutting out?
Nope.
Okay. So it's just me.
Yep.
Okay. I'll just grin and bear it. Okay.
So that's the thing. Also, and this may be contentious for a lot of people, but in my experience, at least, it's not really a huge gain other than noise. Cold air intakes.
So this might be contentious, but cold air intakes, when you buy a cold air intake for any car, you're not just paying for the materials, and that's the problem with a lot of these, because you can buy a cold air intake from eBay for like $20.
Of course.
The problem is,
or you can buy one of the like build your own with like sections and elbows and stuff.
Yeah, that too. But you can, when you buy a cold air intake from someone like I don't know who makes cold air intake, AFE or something,
or K&N.
Yeah. When you buy an actual cold air intake kit, there's research and development that goes into that, and there's quality control, and there's stuff like that. With a eBay cold air intake, you don't get that. It's just kind of made to look and fit like the other,
sure,
like a $200 InGen or AEM intake, where the eBay one is just some no-name brand, no-name filter, and then it'll cost you, a quarter of the price or a tenth of the price. But the problem is there's two issues with this. Cold air intakes might not be necessary anymore because the intake air, like the air boxes now. First of all, most cars now are going to be turbocharged. So the intake, you don't need the sort of velocity that you used to.
Right.
Because now it's all compressed anyway. It doesn't really matter. Of course, colder air makes a difference, but not as much now because it still has to go through an intercooler anyway.
Correct.
So, and a lot of these stock airbox systems, they take it from the place with lowest pressure anyway. They take it from, right outside, they take it from a place where if you're driving, you actually get, not a ram air effect, but you just get it a place where cool air is.
Like it's really cool, man.
It's really cool.
You have like air, which is like kind of tense, and then you have cool air.
And then that's
That's what you want,
it's
man.
like the cool side of the pillow.
Yeah, man.
You always want to sleep on the cool side of the pillow. So the thing with the airbox is I think this all kind of harkens back to 90s and like kind of early 2000s.
Yeah.
Where cold air intakes, like you need to get a cold air intake because you're really, you have a restriction in your airbox. But now it's like you don't really.
I don't even know how effective they would have been back in the day, to be honest.
I think that was more of a marketing exercise, but I think that you would get, if you put it on a Honda Civic, that was made for, to get down NVH, noise, vibration, and harshness. You didn't want a lot of intake noise, but then people took off their airboxes, like wow, my car is a race car and it feels faster. It's not really faster, but it just feels like it. You actually end up losing some low end torque or something.
Yeah.
But it's that might have been placebo effect. And I know some people in the comments were like, my cold air intake actually gave me 20 horsepower. It's really, really few and far between for any sort of gains.
Yeah.
But they sound cool.
They do.
They look cool. And anytime you can get colder air into your engine, it also makes it for kind of a more, like a better experience as far as timing, and your engine doesn't heat soak as much. And that's usually better.
For the Mini Cooper, I bought into the whole colder intake thing, and I did the thing and put it on or whatever. But for the ST,
but it wasn't even a cold air intake. It didn't change the placement of the intake. It was still on top of the engine. Right. Yeah. So it didn't do anything. You just put a filter in there, right?
Well, and I got the whole thing.
It's the thing.
I bought into it.
Okay. So,
but with the ST, there are people that are making almost 2 times stock horsepower with the stock intake.
So I don't think
all I did was I did an aftermarket, like a high flow filter, and I took the box off the top of the filter box. I took the top off of it, and then you can hear the.
So what I did with my Lamborghini is I took off the stock air box and I installed 2 turbos, and that actually makes.
Those are the best intakes to put.
Those are the best intakes to put. Yeah.
That supercharger. That's a good colder intake as well.
Nah, turbos are better. We should have a conversation about supercharged versus turbocharged.
I like both.
I like one way more than the other.
I wonder which one.
I like the turbies.
The turbskis.
The turbskis. I really like turbos. Superchargers are fine too, but man, turbos are just the best. You just the whole free energy thing. I like that. It's already energy that's wasted from the engine. It just goes back right into the system. Yeah, makes more power. Supercharger has to sap energy away, and also I don't like supercharger whine. I've never liked it.
I do. I like it. I think it's cool.
Maybe because I've had cars with like bad alternators, and it sounds like a bad alternator.
I mean, I've also had cars with bad alternators, but I still like supercharger whine.
So my SL is supercharged, and it sounds like it has a slight supercharger whine.
Very, very quiet supercharger.
Yeah. So it just sounds like like that.
You should get a dump valve for it, man.
I should not.
That'd be sick.
No, I don't think so.
So sick, dude.
Superchargers actually don't need dump valves.
I know they don't need them. I'm just saying it would be sick to have it, man.
Yeah, just run like crap.
Get one and do tow hook on the front.
The problem with superchargers,
T37s, dude.
Yeah,
so sick.
The tow hook, because I'm constantly getting towed. That's something that's overpriced. People pay a lot of money for like anodized tow hooks and stuff.
I didn't pay a lot for mine for the Mini Cooper.
And
that's why it's silver and no longer gold.
And that's why it took so much effort to take off
because it had rusted.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not supposed to rust, but it did.
Oh man, that was an Amazon $7 special. I think.
Okay, so it wasn't that. It's not over. It's overpriced because have you ever used it
as a tow hook? No, not at all. But
you wouldn't because that thing would break.
as a status of a hot boyness, absolutely. And I say in the Art of the Flip, like I put it on kind of ironically. I ended up liking it, which I feel kind of bad about, but whatever. It's fine. I don't care.
Okay.
It's off now and in the garbage.
So another thing that I think is really sort of overpriced is catback exhaust. So catback exhaust, if you look at a lot of these cars, especially exotic cars, exhausts are 10, 12 grand.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Like an exhaust for a Lamborghini Gallardo, or let's say like a Murcielago or a Aventador, you're spending 5 figures on an exhaust, on some pipe that is literally pipe that they just, obviously
but it goes on a car that's really expensive.
Yes, so that would be the pinnacle of overpriced, because the same amount of material that they use for a Ford Focus ST. It's like a slinky went off my brain.
A focus. Umlauts over every vowel. Focus.
So Ford Focus, the same amount of material,
For like $800, whereas like 10 grand for.
but even $800, I think that's too much for it's.
Okay, yeah, maybe yes, but maybe not.
It's one of those things where it's like, do you have to get that?
Phoenix, Arizona. I don't know anybody in Phoenix, Arizona. They can go straight to VM, bro.
Okay.
S2 VM. So the thing with the exhaust is that I feel like a lot of companies, they still put a lot into R&D.
Of course, yeah. No,
exhaust.
I totally get that, but what I don't like is that when they do, this has 30 horsepower gain or something, and the cat back exhaust, that system, it's already meant to not restrict flow, but it's already meant to have a decent amount of flow. Obviously, when you add power to a car, and you're kind of, you have to have more flow. But for the stock engine, you're not. It's going to be really hard to find a super restrictive exhaust. The thing that restricts it is usually the secondary cats, or even the primary cats. So
you just get those bad boys cut out like a cancer, put in pipe sections, get those bad boys welded in, and you're good to go.
So you shouldn't do that. You can do. You should do that. No, you shouldn't do that, because like we live in the Wild West on the east, and that like we don't need any of that. But for people that do have state inspections, that could, and first of all, you could. They're not going to enforce it, but you could get into trouble. Like if you go to California and you take your cats out, that's going to be they'll impound your car.
They'll like put you in the chair for that. No, they don't do the death penalty over there anymore, do they?
I don't know.
It's too cruel.
They just leave you out in the street for a while and let nature take its course. So I think what you could do is what I did with my Aston Martin that had really restrictive catalytic converters.
You do high flow cats.
You did high flow cats. You do high flow sport cats.
Yeah, and that's fine for everywhere else. But we're in Florida, so I'm going to take advantage of that, and I'm going to not have any cats.
I don't know. I don't think I'd do that. I think if I had a car with cats, I wouldn't delete them. I would just put in some high flow ones, just because.
It's so much money. Talk about overpriced.
Yeah, but I'd rather, like, if it's a car I'm going to sell later on, I want it to be sold in different states.
Are you saying that you can't sell a car that's straight piped with no cats or res or mufflers?
Yeah, you probably.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I'm trying to say that's a car.
Because I don't know about that.
Is that a problem you've had in the past? Is that a
watch the episode of Art of the Flip coming soon to the YouTube channel near you to find out.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Yes, that is a problem. So I think having some cats there would be fine. The cats are expensive.
Expensive, but they have a lot of like
rare earth metal. Yeah. So
palladium, platinum, all that stuff.
Yeah, so that's fine. You understand why that's expensive. But I think the exhaust, it's literally just tube, and sometimes it's aluminized steel, sometimes it's stainless steel.
With anything that's made of metal, like fab work takes time.
Right, but fab work takes time in that they have jigs for everything. They don't have. It's not like they're trying to make everything one off.
Well, yeah,
for the
but sure.
car.
But even with a jig, fab work takes time.
Right, but not $10,000 worth. And
we're back to the Lambro stuff. Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the most money that you can spend on something like this.
I think it just boils down to this guy could afford a $450,000 car. He can afford $12,000 for some pipe.
Sure, I guess. So I think it has. There's a range, but also I think that charging. You said $800 for an exhaust for the Ford Focus ST.
It's like that is, I think, probably the most expensive I've seen. There are other exhausts that are like $350, $400.
Because I know that there are like $1,200 to $1,500 exhausts on like Nissans and stuff like that. Like, not necessarily GTRs, but like Infinities and things like that. And I think that's too much.
Oh
for
yeah.
That.
After having worked at Enjuku for a long time, or not a long time, but for an amount of time, I can kind of see like there are companies that charge more just because they have the brand. It's just the brand. You're paying for the brand.
Yeah. So anytime you're just paying for the brand, Lamborghini, Ferrari, you're definitely, that's going to be overpriced territory.
Yeah, like people that pay, $1,200 for Tome exhaust.
Right.
Like, sure, it looks good and it's very well made. I don't know if it's $1,200 well made.
Speaking of overpriced, RWB.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, totally, totally. But that's not really a mod. That's like multiple mods. There's a bunch of mods.
No, it's a body mod. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's
Liberty Walk's in the same boat.
Yeah. But I mean, it's an experience, and then you get to put it on YouTube, and then if you have a good filmmaker friend, and they're like, dude,
It's usually just crispy.
dude, Nikai-san is coming to my shop. It's gonna be an honor, and we're gonna get him some McChickens, right? And he's just
No, just Coke in a glass bottle and a bunch of cigarettes.
yeah, just a bunch of cigarettes. That guy can't be in good health. I mean,
Oh, I know.
that is like he eats and smokes like garbage. Like
Yeah.
it's real bad. And then he's doing all this body work and like fiberglass is getting in his lungs. Like,
Well, hey, you know what? The cars are going to go up in value real fast when that happens.
I don't know. I think they're gonna. I'm not sure if that's gonna be a bubble, but I think there's gonna be a time where nobody wants to buy those cars anymore.
And that's when I'm going to swoop in and get one.
You buy low and you sell never.
I know a lot of people hate them, blah, blah, blah.
No, I don't-
I think they're super cool.
I don't hate them. I think they're overpriced.
Yeah. I like the car. I think they're super cool. I don't like the culture around it.
I think they're
weird.
I think they're cool. Yeah, it's like this like
cult.
it's a dark art. Like it's not. He's cutting a fender.
Yeah. He's using Harbor Freight tools.
Yeah, he's literally just cutting a fender and he's putting caulk on it with his finger. Like it's not.
Yeah.
I understand that there's an art to it. I understand he's done it lots of times.
Oh, yeah.
He's really good at it, and he has exacting standards. But it's still like
sort of.
yeah.
He's over there like spray painting chicken wire with like black spray paint to put in for like grills and stuff. Like I wouldn't call that an exacting. There is and standard. It's a standard.
He lays out all his tools. All right, hot glue gun. You have some Rust-Oleum paint, some chicken wire.
Yep.
Like, this how much? $50,000.
$50,000.
Okay, so that's and we get to just hang around here, and while you basically destroy.
But you get to be in
do
his
it.
presence.
You get to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I wonder if any other. You know what they should do. To any like body shop that does these kind of mods, like we will charge you more if you get to stay here, and then you get to videotape it, like. And then they just make themselves as this world famous authority on installing body kits, where it's like just I don't know, Earl Scheib or something.
That's already happened.
What is it?
West Coast Customs.
So what? No, so West Coast Customs.
I know.
Yeah,
It was a joke. It was a joke.
Yeah,
It was a
okay.
joke. It was a joke.
But
They are truly talented.
I've watched the West Coast Customs, Inside West Coast Customs or
Yes,
whatever.
yeah.
Other than the owner Ryan, like I don't know if maybe they just edited it like this, but he seems he's very into his brand. Obviously, he's built it up from nothing. But it's almost like they didn't think I'd get this far, but I did. Okay.
I think that's pretty much just for TV.
Yeah. I always roll my eyes at the like rise and grind, bro. That sort of thing. But it seems to me that he seems about his business. He seems like a decent enough guy. I've never met him, so the only one I've met was Mad Mike.
Oh yeah.
And I've also met the guys from Gas. Bo, can't remember his last name. But
He's the owner of Gas.
Yeah. So so he's a really nice guy. I met him when I think in the LA Auto Show 2014 when they were unveiling the Fisker Karma. Not a Fisker Karma, the Fisker Rocket, the Mustang, the carbon fiber Mustang that Fisker did. And I met Henrik Fisker, and I told him that I'm a big fan of his cars, the Aston Martin V8 Vantage and all that stuff. So really cool.
The Fisker Karma, not so much.
I don't hate the Fisker Karma. It's fine. It's not a good car.
It sucks.
Yeah, I've never driven it, but apparently, I mean, I like the way it looks. It's kind of cool. In any case,
Like a giant mustache on the front. Looks terrible.
yeah. So it does look like a giant mustache.
Exactly.
Yes, like I just need a top hat. So I think overpriced mods are going to be way more overpriced on the exotic market. But what I'm thinking is it doesn't even have to be mods. I think a lot of times dealer parts are marked up.
Oh, screw that, man.
Yeah.
Screw dealers, dude.
So it's like OEM parts in the aftermarket can be had for way less money. And I remember I just did the starter for my wife's car. My wife's car has I think 215,000 miles. It's a Hyundai Elantra, 2012. And her starter went out. It was intermittently going out, and it would go out when it's cold. And now it started getting cold. I was like, man, I'll just replace it. So you can get a rebuilt one. I think it's Chinese or Taiwanese or something. And that is $50 to $60.
Wow.
Or you can get the Hyundai genuine part, and that's $230.
Good Lord.
So I ended up getting the Hyundai one just because I was like, I really don't. But there's a trade off here, because I was like, I'll get the Hyundai one just because I know that this is the one that is going to have no problems with the car. Sometimes they have different teeth. Is she under there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes they have one too many teeth or something like
Right,
that, or the
yeah.
engagement isn't correct. You have to take it out a few times. Sometimes they have warranties, but you have to send them in. I don't want to deal with that, so I just got the one for $200. Plus, it's my wife's daily driver. I'd rather her just have something that works.
It's reliable, yeah.
Sure, but a lot of times you have, and especially on exotic cars, where I was looking up parts for, let's see, the Lamborghini Gallardo. Just little part, one of the hydraulic rams that I mentioned on one of my last videos. Hydraulic rams, $2,000. It's just a regular hydraulic ram. Shouldn't be more than $100 or something. On any other car, it would be $100. But it has these two Hall effect sensors, these magnets essentially, and those magnets I found somewhere else. I could just look up the part number, and they were $9 each.
Oh my gosh.
So,
oh my gosh,
it's what are you doing? What are you doing? And you can get I can get them rebuilt. I can get those hydraulic rams rebuilt for, I think it's $100 or something.
Wow.
But to get them new, it's $2,000. And it's that, the Lamborghini Murcielago front bumper, OEM, it's made of carbon fiber.
Right.
So that car is almost all carbon fiber.
Yes.
And it's $4,000 to $5,000.
And that's before paint.
That's used. So you might need to fix it. So the same thing with I was looking at a crashed McLaren 675 LT.
Ooh.
So it needed some body work. It ran and drove. And I think the guy wanted 150 or something. It was on Copart. I think it's still on there. But ran and drove, and 675 LT is really, really nice. But the front was messed up and the rear was messed up. I found how much do you think a full body kit for a McLaren 675 LT costs?
I honestly have no frame of reference. I have no idea.
Okay. All right. So I found one.
I'm going to say at least 5 digits.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So that cost, I found it in the UK, because you obviously can't find it here.
Right.
There's a UK supplier that has the entire everything that you need for the 675 LT. It was 35,000 pounds.
Oh, so that's $45,000.
Yeah, it's 45 to 50 grand plus shipping to get it over. So $50,000 for a bumpers, and that's not even counting
you could just get a used 675 LT for $200,000.
Yeah, you could. And the guy wanted they wanted essentially 150 plus the 50, and you could just get a non-crashed one. So for $50,000, you can get that's a lot of car you can buy. You can buy a car and you go faster than a 675 LT.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But
good Lord.
But yeah, $50,000 for, I think that's kind of, but I understand the 675, they're not making any more of them. And it's all carbon fiber. It's all that sort of Koenigsegg carbon fiber, the Pagani carbon fiber, that where they meet in the middle. It's really, you can tell that there was a lot of time spent on this. But $50,000, oh my God, that's the way the other side lives. That's already past the point of. This is past the point of you have arrived. Now you're just lounging.
That's FU money.
Yeah, that's not even FU money. It's F me money.
Yeah.
It's I want to build this car so bad that I'm going to F myself out of this money, because it's I could buy a regular car, but I just don't want to. So that's kind of the pinnacle of that. So I think we've put that subject to rest. There's a lot of OEM parts. There's wheels. There's the stereos. There's some other stuff. HIDs, even though we're not living in 2003 anymore.
Yeah, I haven't looked into buying it.
I don't know how much HIDs cost anymore. I'm sorry. So we're just gonna go to questions. We have some questions on Facebook. Ryan DeClue says, "Are you excited to come to St. Louis next year and race with Misfit Toys Car Club to benefit autistic children? What will you be bringing?" So I'm not sure if he is the guy I talked to, but I am gonna go, and you're also invited. Please come out. There's an event in St. Louis. It's Misfit Toys Car Club, and it's like they block off this parking lot and they do like races.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's just basically kind of like a cars and coffee thing, but they benefit autistic children. So I said I would do it, but the guy I talked to. He was really into Vipers, and he said he would love it if I bought the Viper. The Viper's not happening.
Rip.
But I might have something else that should be better. So that we'll see. I'm not gonna talk about it now. But
is this something that I know about?
Yeah.
Which
with kids, I think it might be a little better. The expensive one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think with kids it's gonna be much better.
Yes.
Okay, so so I might be bringing that. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but it should be a lot of fun. Larry Velez, actually, this is based on, we already talked about this. Has Andrew listened to the Overpriced podcast, episode 32? Have you listened to that?
No.
Okay, no. So he has not. But where he rips into RWB and the people who like them. He might change his mind about liking RWB after listening to this. I don't think you still like the look of it. It's just like it's overpriced. And, like
it's
the quality
price and the culture is just weird.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I love the look.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I dig the look too. I just think that I wouldn't pay $50,000 for it.
That is correct.
So, I also wouldn't pay $200,000 for a 993 Porsche Turbo. It's not a $200,000 experience. It's just like it's a nice car. I'm not paying $200,000 for that.
GT3 manual all day.
Sure. Raj N. Nina Singh says, "What do you think about the 2007 Mitsubishi Montero Limited as an overlander? Would you rock it?"
We just talked about that a while ago.
We did. My dad had an 03.
The answer is yes. We would absolutely rock it.
Yeah, my dad had an 03. It wasn't a limited, but the limited is just a trim package.
Yep.
He had an XLS, and I love that car. It was super nice. I love the fact that you had selectable 4-wheel drive and it had different modes. It was basically kind of like a Range Rover except without some Range Rover-ness, and I think it was like a 3.5 liter V6. Not the best engine, as it was a 6G72 engine, I believe, and made a decent amount of power. It wasn't fast, but it was okay. And I think as an overlander, it'd be really good.
Agreed.
Let's see. Do you ever reply to emails from people who have consecrated their time? What does consecrated mean? Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like when you consecrate your marriage?
What does that mean?
I'll tell you when you're older.
Okay. Consecrated their time trying to help you. I don't know what that
Maybe
means.
Concentrated their time?
Maybe. But okay. Sure. I might be too dumb for this question.
But do you ever reply to emails to people?
I do. The problem,
people that have helped you.
Sure. So I do try to reply to as many emails as I can. The problem is I get a lot.
He does get a lot.
I get a lot of emails, guys. So please don't feel bad if you don't get replies to your emails. I try to read all of them. It's just like they're coming in at such a rate that it would take a significant portion of my day to read them all. And every once in a while, I do go back and just check them all, and I do reply to some, and but please do know that like I appreciate everything you guys are talking about, and the emails come in a lot more when I have trouble, and I'm like, hey, help me out with this, and then I get 1,000 emails.
Yes.
So
everything gets loused into sauce.
Yeah, it does. It's really hard to go through. So imagine just. One of those like old cop dramas where they go, you have to do the paperwork, and they just give you like, whoop.
Yeah,
it's like that.
Yes.
So, Tahir Zainab says, when are you doing a subscriber meet? I'm gonna get the Lamborghini on the road and registered first, so that is coming up probably in the next week or so. I still have to do a few minor tweaks. I want to redo some of the oil line stuff. just because there's a little bit of a leak on one of the lines, so I have to just redo that. But that'll be done off camera. It's not a big deal at all. So after that, I'm gonna let you guys all know about all that stuff. Let's see. Brian Moore says, since you started with more basic cars and modifying them, and now a TT Lambo, what was more enjoyable or satisfying? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're with me. I don't think that the amount of money you spend on a car is necessarily, adds to the satisfaction.
Yeah, no,
I think it's the challenge more than anything.
Yeah. For me, I've never added up the value of money that I've spent on mods for a car just because I don't care.
I wouldn't want that kind of negativity in my life, really. I don't need that sort of, what am I?
That's I don't buy a car and think of it as like an investment in the parts I put on an investment. I just buy a car because I enjoy it. That's literally it.
Sure, but I'm talking about like enjoyable or satisfying. With the Lambo, it was more of a challenge that I've had. In other cars, I've had challenges, but they're like smaller, maybe like an engine swap or something. But this is just kind of like an ongoing thing where everything was new, like tuning and getting the power out of it, and making a turbo kit from scratch and all that stuff. Like it's a real big challenge. You have to look up what parts work and what doesn't, and what people are finding out solutions for these issues. So that is the sort of thing that it's enjoyable, but it's also like a huge relief when everything just kind of works and like, okay, now I can get on to
I think
something a little more.
I think the payoff is really worth it, especially in this case because now you have a twin turbo Lamborghini to drive around.
Yeah. That's always
exciting.
Yeah, it's always good. Yeah. So I think one more question. This is one for you. Jamie Buchanan says, I have a Mini Cooper S that runs great, but looks beat to heck all over. What do you guys think I should do with it?
Enlarge? Enhance.
Okay, I'm gonna put this on the screen. So this guy, this is this guy's.
It's an S, so that's a good start.
Yeah.
I got a set of wheels that would look really good on that car. I would just hit up junkyards and find R53s that have good body panels and just kind of source them.
Well, it looks like, it needs some quarter panel work as well.
Yeah, that's really expensive because it's a giant piece.
It's that shouldn't be that expensive, actually. Just go to a good body shop. They should, because I would get a new door. I would get this little panel right here, and I would get a new hood. And how much? Are they expensive? The hoods and stuff? They can't be that expensive.
I don't think they're that expensive.
Because they're the same between the S and the regular one, right?
No,
they're not the same.
No.
They'll have. The hoods aren't the same. They won't bolt in. I think the hoods are the same.
Well, they bolt in, but the
hood scoop.
Yeah, the hood scoop for the
okay.
S.
But is it the you have R56, right?
Yeah.
What about the R53?
That's what this is.
Okay, so that's what this is.
Yeah.
They made enough of these cars. You can probably just go to if you find a donor car with these good parts, I would get these good parts.
And then I would honestly skip the whole buying a donor car, and I would just go to a junkyard, multiple junkyards, and just source the parts that you need from different cars. And at the end, get them painted.
If that's the only damage, it's not so bad. But if it runs great, then it's a good car.
I think I see a trim piece missing off the A pillar as well.
Well, yeah, his wheel arches are also,
right. Yeah,
also are missing. But it just looks like he just ran into something, or something ran into him.
Yeah, just find some replacement parts, get some body work done, and bada bing, bada boom, there you go.
But it depends on what you want for the car. If you want to ultimately sell it, maybe it just makes sense to just sell it now as, just kind of a project or something, and then buy something else. But if you really like the car, then, then go for it.
I think that the R53s, because they're a little older, having one that's in really good shape is a little bit. It's a little more uncommon.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think it would be worth the investment, and just be fun to go to a junkyard and pull some parts.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, all right. So we're done. We're done for today. That was fun. If you guys want to talk to us via the interwebs, you can do so at carguystalk@gmail.com, and all our social links will be down below. But I think that's going to be it for our show for our Ratcheteers. They're Ratcheteers, dude.
They're not.
They are.
I hate that word so
You know
much.
what? put in the comments. If you like Ratcheteers, say I am a Ratcheteer. That's
no. If you have
You're
a
not-
better
don't listen to
idea
him,
for
no.
a better name for the listeners of this podcast, please put your suggestions in the comments below. Either way, comment, like, subscribe. Don't forget to smash that bell to be part of the notification squad.
And the Ratcheteer army. Oh my God. Ratcheteer Brigade. The Ratchet Brigade. Yep. Okay. Anyway, this is me, Tavarish, for Andrew Howell, reminding you guys, as always, to wrench every day, Ratcheteers.